I've been testing this lens on my Canon R5 for the last few weeks and I have some interesting information to share with you. I wanted to give you a hands-on review of the Canon RF 16mm f2.8 STM lens, which is $300 in the US, and I got it for 26,500 Indian rupees, including GST. I will not go into a lot of details and specifications of this lens. All that information is out there already. I want to give you my honest opinion about this lens and all the use cases. Oh, and stick around till the end of the video to see a short film shot entirely on the Canon R5 and this 16mm lens handheld. Canon is marketing this lens for landscape as well as architecture photography and a vlogging lens. However, there is one caveat. For photography, this lens is extremely sharp in the center at f2.8, however not so sharp at the edges. There is a slight vignette which I actually like. This does get better around f8. If you shoot in JPEG, this camera does some magic and gets rid of the barrel distortion almost completely. However, if you shoot RAW like me, the barrel distortion is incredibly bad. And as of today, in Lightroom or Adobe Camera Raw, there is no lens correction profile for this lens. It's been a while for the 50mm RF lens as well that there hasn't been one. I'm not sure when one will come out for this, so I don't expect anything anytime soon. In post, you can manually remove the distortion as well as the vignette. However, that's not a step that I want to add on to my RAW workflow. So I personally would not use this lens for any photography work, especially because I shoot only in RAW. If you're a JPEG shooter, it doesn't matter to you. So for RAW shooters, this lens is a nightmare. Let's talk video. So far, I've been filming this talking head shot on my 24-70 RF lens at f2.8 with digital stabilization turned off. Now let's switch to the 16mm on this camera with the digital stabilization turned on to maximum. That's the enhanced mode on the Canon R5, and I want to demonstrate something to you. As you can see, this is slightly wider than 24mm. This is with digital stabilization on the enhanced mode. Let's see what it looks like on the on mode now. All right, and now you can see this is more like a 18, maybe a 20mm lens. Let's see what happens when we turn the stabilization off completely. As you can see, this is 16mm in all its glory. I'll need to set this camera up closer to me to set it up more like a vlogging lens. I am about 1.5 feet away from the camera lens, and this is what you can see. It's very, very wide, and I think it's ideal for vlogging. Landscape, videography maybe, photography again, like I mentioned, if you're shooting RAW, then that's out of the question. All right, now let's watch short film on mute and I'll continue to speak. As you can see, the camera does some magical distortion removal even in video, and we have a very lightweight setup, perfect for vlogging and immersing the viewer, that is you, into this world which we want to show. You will need an ND filter outdoors if you want to stick to f2.8 aperture, because the bokeh on this lens is beautiful and you want to capture that. My smallest ND is a 52mm variable, so I purchased a step-up ring from the 43mm that this lens is. Video looks great on this lens, and I can easily see this as my go-to lens when traveling. There are a couple of issues. First, due to the nature of IBIS within the camera, there is definitely some wobble visible on the edges of the screen while filming, as you can see in the video playing back. This does reduce when you use digital stabilization. That is why I was showing you those modes and what they look like. However, I found that if you want to use the entire 16mm field of view, you need to carry a gimbal with yourself and turn off IBIS and turn off all kind of stabilization. The second issue I found was zoom while rack focusing. So when I rack focus from an object in the front to an object further back, the lens actually zooms out quite a bit, and this is very noticeable. So I wouldn't recommend this if you're trying to rack focus, because it'll definitely change the field of view that you're looking at. The last issue with this lens is that it does not have a dedicated button to switch from autofocus to manual focus. You need to go into the menu and there change it from autofocus to manual focus. You can, however, switch the ring on the lens itself to control the focus or to whatever else you want to program it to. So I hope you like the short film that's playing in the background. If you want to watch the entire short film with audio and all the sound effects and everything, it's on my YouTube channel. It was shot entirely with this camera and the 16mm lens handheld, with different modes of stabilization on and off. I also shot it in PQ HDR and uploaded it on YouTube in HDR. So if you have an HDR phone, screen, or TV, watch it on that. In conclusion, this is a good starting point for photography if you shoot JPEG. For RAW, it's out of the question. If the lens correction profile does come out, hopefully soon, it will be usable in RAW photography as well. However, video takes the cake for this one, for talking headshots like this, for documentaries, for vlogging, and even macro. I'll definitely be using this lens for my YouTube videos and vlogging, hopefully. I hope you enjoyed this video and my review. Be sure to support me by hitting that like button, subscribing, and commenting down below. I'll see you in the next one.